By the time you reach 30, the world expects you to have it all figured out. A stable career, a happy home, a sense of direction. But what happens when at 28 you find yourself with nothing but a suitcase, a baby, and a failed life? Today, we are talking about a woman who was terrified of her own failure until she realized that failing was the very thing that set her free. In early 1990s, Joanne was living in a cold flat in Scotland. She was a single mother, jobless, and surviving on government benefits. She described herself as the biggest failure she knew. Her marriage had imploded. She was grieving the loss of her mother, and she was battling a clinical depression so deep it felt like a dark shroud. The self-doubt wasn't just a whisper, it was a roar. She felt she had wasted her talent and let everyone down. She was, by all socialized standards of that time, at the bottom. But something strange happens when your worst fears come true. For Joanne, the fact that she had already failed meant she no longer had to be afraid of it. She stopped trying to be who the world wanted her to be. She began taking her daughter to cafes, hoping the walk would put the baby to sleep so she could spend just 1 hour doing the only thing that made her feel alive: writing. She didn't have a computer. She didn't have a desk. She wrote the story of a young wizard on scraps of papers and napkins. She wasn't writing for fame. She was writing to survive her own mind. Piles of envelopes. Even when she finished her manuscript, the doubt didn't disappear. She sent it to 12 different publishers. 12 times she was told no. One publisher even told her to get a day job because there was no money in children's books. Can you imagine the weight of the 12th rejection? The voice in her head must have been screaming, "See, you are really a failure." But she kept going. Not because she was certain of success, but because she finally believed that her work had value, even if the world hadn't seen it yet. We know the rest of the story. A small publishing house finally said yes, and the manuscript became Harry Potter. But the lesson isn't in the billions of dollars that she eventually made. The lesson is in the speech she gave years later. She said, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." She realized that her failure had stripped away the non-essentials. It taught her things about herself that she could have learned no other way. It taught her that she had a strong will and more discipline than she suspected. If you feel like you're failing right now, if you feel behind or not enough, remember Joanne. Your current rock bottom isn't your ending. It's your foundation. It's the place where you stop living for others and start living for the truth of who you are. You are worthy not because of what you achieve, but because of the resilience you have shown when everything falls apart. Keep writing your story. The best chapters are usually the ones you haven't dared to dream of yet.